Now, the British pound has fallen to its lowest level ever against the US dollar. In early Asia trade, sterling fell to $1.03 before regaining some ground to around $1.06 as the London markets opened. The pound's fall follows a frosty reception by the markets to the British government's announcement last week. It will cut taxes and hugely increase the amount it borrows. Well, let's talk to Russ Mould, who's investment director at AJ Bell, joining me from Brighton in the south of England. And Russ, while Britain slept, the pound plummeted overnight. What have you made of this situation?
It's something that's unfortunately been potentially brewing for a while, in that if you look at the fundamentals of the British economy, we spend more than we earn, so there's a growing government budget deficit. We import more than we sell, so there's a current account and trade deficit. So we are, to quote a former governor of the Bank of England, Mr. Mark Carney, dependent upon the kindness of strangers for funding our lifestyle. And that's all well and good when people are happy to borrow in pounds. But if they start to lose confidence in that, then they're reluctant for the government to borrow more, and they will charge the government more interest for the privilege of doing so, which is a further burden upon the British economy.
Right, so this all is the result of what happened on Friday. That budget was not called a budget, but it was pretty dramatic in fiscal terms. What sort of shockwaves are you predicting for the rest of the day, if any?
My record on forecasting currencies is absolutely appalling, I have to say. So you don't want to listen to anything that I've got to say on the topic. But given that the pound has been so badly smashed around and sentiment is now so negative on it, it wouldn't be surprising if it was to try and forge a rally in the short term. The more fundamental question is, does the Bank of England try to intervene, or do other governments try and intervene? The Bank of Japan is trying to support the yen against the dollar because the dollar is strong against the Japanese currency. And the last time we saw the pound this week against the American currency was 1985. And it was actually then coordinated international intervention, Germany, France, Japan and Britain, to try and weaken the dollar with the Plaza Accord. Now, that did work then, and the dollar went down very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see if the situation gets so serious that happens again. Though I must say the dollar is nowhere near as strong now in total as it was back in 1985.
And the actual effects that Britons will notice of a weak pound, just talk us through them. I mean, what does it do to the cost of living, for instance?
Yeah, that's probably the most important one. For those who are lucky enough to be able to go overseas on holiday, it makes their overseas holidays more expensive because your pound is worth less against the euro or the dollar, so you need more of them to buy the same amount of foreign currency. But for those who are just staying around at home, it makes our imports more expensive. So it could give a little bit of a lift to inflation when the government is trying to cap that by capping energy prices. The upside is it does in theory make your exports more competitive because British goods are cheaper for overseas buyers to acquire. So it may give a bit of a benefit. And in theory, this sort of currency weakness should balance itself out. As the dollar gets stronger, its economy slows down. America has to cut interest rates. As the pound gets weaker, imports go up, the economy recovers. The Bank of England maybe even raises interest rates to cool things down. So the gap on the return on the money you get in dollars and pounds should, and I stress in theory, close at some stage, but these things can take a long time.